Hi there, I'm Martha Van Dam with Living Beyond, and I'm on my way home after being on a live event published by the Human Wisdom Project. And Manoj Krishna, I was able to speak with him about the topic today of kindness. So I would like to make a suggestion to you. Let's think about what is maybe the number one thing that gets in the way. Maybe we'll talk about more, but for sure, what gets in the way of our being kind to others around us? And what I would suggest is that I believe that probably the primary thing that gets in the way of our kindness is our focus is so regularly on our lives and on ourselves. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. If I'm not focused on where I'm going and what I'm doing, then I'm not going to get there, and it's not going to happen. So I'm not saying it's bad, but where it becomes problematic is that our thoughts about ourselves then overpower, they overshadow, they come to the point where we can't see as well what's going on in someone else's life and how life is affecting them, because we're truly, genuinely only tuned in to how it affects us. So now this is also maybe not an easy little shift in our minds to make. I shouldn't do that while I'm driving, should I? But so what are ways that I can be more focused on paying attention to others and less focused on thinking of how things are affecting us? Now, I am not suggesting that we ignore ourselves. I'm not suggesting that we somehow put ourselves on such a back burner that now our needs are not getting met and we're squashed all of that down. Not by a long shot. But I do believe that we can, when we're out and about and we're dealing with multiples of people, we can again go back to that idea of being curious and focus on others. Now, what's going to happen is the way ourselves get in the way is there will be an interaction of some sort, and that interaction is going to prick some sort of memory that you have, that I have, so maybe some sort of difficulty that we face, some sort of issue that still kind of hangs on, a trauma-related response. So imagine that for someone who has had lots of abandonment, or they've had lots of neglect, or lots of not being acknowledged enough in their world. Well, then if their spouse or partner some way does something that feels like, I'm not even saying that it is ignoring them, but it feels like they are being ignored, pushed to the side, not valued, then that person, whether it's you or me, that person's natural reaction may not be to be one of kindness. That's when it's the hardest, when our own issues get in the way, because we are so tuned in to the feelings that we get in our gut, our chest, our neck, our shoulders, when we're having those triggers, those reactions. So an important factor for something you can do, I can do, to help us then be at a point where we can put more kindness into our world and to others, is to be tuned into what are the things that may trip me up. What are the things that people may say or do that are likely to sort of knock me into a not very gracious place? And what is it that I feel in my own system when that's happening? When I'm feeling triggered, when my brain is trying to tell me I'm threatened, I'm at risk, and we may or may not be. The brain is not always great at determining the truth of whether we're really threatened or at risk. And so the more we can be tuned into when our body is telling us that, and then we can learn how to manage and what our plan of action is when we have gotten triggered, our nervous system has gotten dysregulated, and we hear a thing, our brain tells us we're at risk, it starts a cascade of events, hormones change, we feel all uptight, now we feel it, and as we feel it, we're likely to be less kind. So if we can be tuned into that pattern, then we can pretty early say, I'm going to take care of this dysregulation. I'm going to go outside and take a walk. I'm going to journal a little bit. I'm going to tap. I'm going to do a tapping exercise or meditation to help calm myself. I'll take a bicycle ride. I'll go take the dog for a walk. Whatever is in your toolbox to help you manage when you've had those kinds of triggers. The more that we can take care of ourselves that way, the easier it becomes for us to become curious about the other person and respond in a kind way. But if we are all triggered and we're all up in our feelings and we are all up in, I'm going to protect myself because of these bad feelings, kindness just goes out the window. And here's the really sad thing. Whatever that is that's happened is not going to be solved when people are all in their dysregulated states and not being able to be kind. So it does require knowing yourself, knowing what your triggers are, knowing what upsets you, recognizing when that's happening, being the one to take charge of what you're going to do about it, not from a blaming the other person's standpoint, as in, well, you've upset me, so now I've got to go have some time to settle down. No. From the standpoint of, a little Gottman here, from the standpoint of, okay, I think I can feel that I'm getting anxious, I'm getting a little dysregulated. I'm just going to take myself for a little walk for a little while, or I'm going to go tap, or I'm going to take myself a little break, and I'll be back. And when I come back, then I'll be able to bring the best version of me. But right now, I need to do this for me, and then therefore for us. You take yourself to a place, you calm down, then you're better able to come in intentionally, deal with the circumstance, and be kind. Alrighty, so that's another one for today, and I hope you've enjoyed this. I will have the link for the entire session posted as well, and there'll be more coming in the next video. Thanks, and bye-bye.